Hey guys, welcome back to K&A's Family Homestead. In this video, we are going to talk about 5 things you shouldn't do when starting your germination. So, let's get into the video. Get ready? Alright. Let's go. Hey guys, alright. Let's jump into this video with number 1. One thing that you should not do is follow your friends or anyone else you see on social media posting on their germination. Because when they're starting, doesn't mean you should start. Know your time zones so you can go ahead and put it in and be able to start successfully. Everyone either has a different setup or different way of doing things. Some, are ready and are in an environment to do that. But you need to know where you stand and if you are ready to start your germination process. So that is number 1. Big one right there, because I go through the media feed and I see so many people starting their germination, and I start itching and start looking at catalogs, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to start now. And that could be a big mistake. You can just start and either you grow them too fast and the weather's not right, or you start them and you don't have the proper setup to even continue or getting them to germinate, so there's a lot of factors that falls in place. So make sure that you have the right stuff and that you're doing everything the way you're supposed to, so when you do start, everything will go smooth. That is number 1 on my list. Now, number 2, which I find very important as well. When it comes to germination, you always eventually going to have to transplant your plant to either a bigger pod or a bigger container, or you're going to be able to transplant it outside either your garden or in your greenhouse. My thing is, you want to make sure that your seedling is going to fit where you first drop that seed in. Make sure you think ahead, because it's going to get big. Some plants grow faster, some plants grow slower, but some grow to be bigger plants. They need bigger room. You don't want to transplant them from one to another to another. The less you have to do that, the better the plant is. Less stress on the plants, and 9 times out of 10, you will have a successful germination and planting at the end. So, that's number 1. I have a pea pod. It's about 50 mm's that is huge. It gets big, and it'll fit just about almost every plant, every vegetable plant that I'm thinking of growing. And once it grows and it gets big enough, I could take this whole thing and put it into the ground and don't have to put no kind of stress on the plant whatsoever. This is almost like the best thing they made. From experience, last year I bought these trays, about maybe 50, 75 little cells, and I thought that was awesome. I was like, I have all these seeds, I can just throw them all in here, get them to grow, which they grew beautifully. But some plants grow faster than others, bigger than others, to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, the ground is still frozen. It's still cold. These seedlings won't make it outside. A, I started too early, and B, even if it was that time, I would have been probably stuck with a dead plant that wouldn't have made it to even, you know, get as cold or to be able to, transplant it outside anyway. So that's something you have to think, get something that's going to fit your plant. The less times you have to move it to transplant it, the better the plant is, and you'll have a better germination rate, and you have a successful transplant when you bring it outside. My kids are having a blast downstairs with their brother. You probably hear my son going crazy. All right. But nevertheless, let's jump into 3. All right. Now, my third one is the light. I can't stress enough that when you're doing your germination, you need plenty of light. At least 16 hours. Between 12 to 16. 12 is on the low side. Some need way more than that. So, to be on the safe side, I would go with 16 hours of lighting. Now, for the lighting, you want to make sure the light is close to your pea pods or your cells or whatever you plan on using. Make sure it is about 2 to no more than 3 inches above your pea pod or your cells or any containers you use. One of my falters that I did was have my light so high. I figure, hey, listen, if I put them too close, they're gonna burn my seedlings. Seedlings are delicate. So that was the sense I was putting together, and that, so I did it like that. And that was the worst thing I could have done. My plants wind up becoming leggy, which is like, alright, so your plants, when they grow, they're going for that light. They're going for the energy that's going to feed them so they can grow. Now, when your light is so high, your plant is like, wow, that energy is so high, I'm going to keep reaching to get it. And that's what happens. It starts going big, 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 but it's just reaching. It's not giving it time slowly to grow like the way they're supposed to. Instead, it's rapidly growing, trying to reach that light, and it's still skinny, and it starts leaning over. And that's what we call leggy. There's other names for it, but that's what I call it. So that's one thing you don't want to happen. You want the light right there, about 2 to 3 inches in front of them, so they can be able to grow easy instead of straining for that energy, growing fast, trying to reach that energy they need to grow. So that's number 3, and that is very, very, very important when it comes to lighting. Make sure you have 16 hours and about 2 to 3 headspace from your container, your cells, or your pea pods, or whatever you plan on using. Okay? Alright, number 4. Don't plant your seed too far in the soil. That is another very important thing you should not do. If your seed is about a 16th, then you're going to want to put it in the dirt about a 16th. However size is your seed, that's how under you want to put it. If it's small, then you even barely put it in the ground. You put it right on top and cover it with 2 little grains of soil, and that bad boy will grow beautifully. You don't need to bury your seeds too far under. That is number 4. All right, guys, and number 5. Do not. Let me look at my paper real quick. Do not, the temperature. Oh, golly. All right, take 2. All right, guys, number 5 is getting the right temp for your seedlings. And I can't stress enough to you that when you starting your seedlings, make sure you got the right temp, because if not, they will not germinate. And that's something that happened to me last year out of experience, and it's very popular with peppers, and that's exactly what happened with my pepper plants. I started it and they didn't show no signs of germination, no life whatsoever, and I was like, what's going on? And I went, did some research, and there you go. I did not have the right temperature for them to even begin the process. So that's one thing. Make sure you're giving your plants the right temperature so they can grow successfully. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave a playlist, or should I say a little marker, for 5 garden tips in 5 minutes. It's in the playlist. There's so many people that joined that collaboration with a lot of helpful tips. And I got some good tips that might help you guys as well. So I hope this was helpful. Guys, that's all I got. And I will see you on the next video. Guys, God bless.